What we talked about before, about, Sid Field, he had the first, second, and third act structured. Then in your process to the product, you said Quentin would not have it like that, right? Or there's certain films like...
Oh yeah, Being John Malkovich.
Being John Malkovich.
No,
totally different.
They all actually do fall into the 3-act structure, and let me explain why and what the difference. We were actually talking, I was talking more about Blake Snyder and the idea that you micromanage, where are you on page 3? Where are you on page 5? Where are you
So it doesn't necessarily have to be on page 3 or page 5.
No, to me, story is, again, it's kind of a little bit more visceral, and a lot of it has to do, if I have an 80-page script as opposed to a 140-page script, it's going to change, it's going to alter, how the story flows. I think Jobs, the Steve Jobs movie that came out, it's a 150-page script. It's a huge script. It wasn't a very long film, but it was a huge script because it was a lot of dialogue. So it varies, in terms of the ebb and flow of the story, but all story, no matter how you chop it up, Memento, for example, which is a story that was told backwards in time, right? Still there's a beginning, there's a middle, and there's an end. And for me, that's the definition of 3-act structure. You have a beginning, you have a middle, and you have an end. And I don't think you can do any story without that. You can't tell a story without a middle, can't tell a story without starting it, you can't tell a story without ending it, no matter how you do it in time. Whether you're jumping around, being John Malkovich, Quentin Tarantino, there's still a start, middle, and end. That's different to me than the micromanagement of where things happen in the story and how you move through time. So that was, for me, the major difference. I do think that pretty much every story goes through a 3-act structure of sorts. And to me, not every story has the hero's journey specifically, but most of them do. More successful stories do, because those characters are the ones that we follow and relate to as they travel through the story. In other words, we want to watch that person succeed, or if they're an evil person, we want to watch them fail. Hi, I'm Brian Herskowitz. I'm a screenwriter and a screenwriting instructor, and I'm going to be teaching at the Hollywood International Film Academy.